Hello, it's Crafty Rhea, and today is Thursday, but it's not any old Thursday. It's Throwback Thursday. So today for Throwback Thursday, we're going to be bringing back some of the old tools and supplies that we have sitting around that we haven't used in a long time. They've probably gone out of fashion, but that's okay. I'm bringing them back. So for today's Throwback Thursday, I'm going to be playing around with these scissors. Remember these, all these fancy edged scissors that we used to have? If you've been a scrapbooker or crafter for any length of time, you probably have a whole bunch of these. Well, I have a whole basket of them. But today I'm going to be focusing on these two. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use for my project, but I'm going to use at least one of these for my project. This is the deco edge, and then this is the pinking shears. So I'll set those aside. Those were one of the very first things that I got when I was a scrapbooker. I got these in a rock, paper, scissors sale from some scrapbook company. I cannot even remember who they were. I have a whole set of these scissors. It was probably back in 1999 that I ordered these. So they've been around in my stash for a very long time. And the other thing I wanted to bring out was one of these big heavy woodblock background stamps. Most of us now use the clear acrylic stamps and the stamp positioners and all those fancy tools. Well, remember back in the day we had these big wooden monstrosity stamps? Well, I have one. I've never used this before. Today was the very first time I have used this in many years. This is from Stampabilities, and it was copyright 2005. So you know I've had it a long time. This particular stamp is called Composer's Dream, and the number is PR1003. And the original price was $9.99. I know I didn't pay $9.99. I probably got it at Hobby Lobby at half price or something like that. But I think it's really cool. I thought it was really cool when I bought it to make a lot of backgrounds. But I have the perfect card that I'm going to recycle that might just go with this. So I'll bring out the card. I received some Christmas cards in the mail to recycle from a crafting friend. And there's this one that says, "For a special brother-in-law at Christmas." Well, I have a brother-in-law, but I wouldn't just send him a card, of course, because he's married to my sister-in-law. So, you know, it would be silly just to send him a card. He would probably think I'm crazy. So I'm going to cut this apart and make a new card out of it. But we have the violin with the music paper, and I thought it might go good with this stamp somehow. Not exactly sure, but we'll figure it out. And then here's the inside. I'm thinking with this part on the inside, I can make a tag, a gift tag out of that. So we'll see. We'll play around and we'll see what happens. So like I said, I have the scissors and I have the stamp to go with this. I don't really know what I'm doing. I did get some stuff out of my stash, and I'll show you what they are because I don't know. I have some of these that are to from stickers. I have some of these that I might use as a sentiment. I have some ribbon with poinsettias on them. I have some poinsettia stickers. I have these, and I have these gold bows. So I'm going to set these aside. I may or may not use them. I have this card base, which kind of matches the background a little bit. It's kind of a pearl color. And then I went ahead and got a plain white one, card base, and I already stamped this stamp right in the center. I played around with this stamp a lot. It's really hard to get a good image in the very middle of it because it's so big. I have to go on my stove and stamp it because my table is one of those big buffet tables that are plastic, and you don't really get a good push on it. I used this piece of craft foam. It's a thick piece of craft foam. Way back when I started stamping in the 90s, or maybe early 2000, my friend Spidey Cindy sent me a bunch of crafting stuff, and I believe she sent me this piece of craft foam to do stamping on. As you can see, it's well loved. I've used it over the years, and that gave me the best image, which was this one. Oh, and I will say I used the my VersaFine ink pad. This is really good. It's onyx black, and it is perfect for fine detail, and as you can see, this stamp has a lot of fine detail, so it worked out well. Okay, so let me move some of this stuff aside, and we'll go ahead and take this card apart to begin with. I'm going to start by taking this paper out of the inside pretty carefully. I want to preserve it as much as I can. I'll use my bone folder and carefully try to lift this up. There we go. So I'm going to set this aside. If any of you have a brother-in-law that you may want to use this sentiment, and I'll try to preserve this front piece. Let me know in the comments below. The first person that comments that you want it, email me your address and I will send that to you, because I'm not going to be using that, and I hate to see it go to waste. I'll hang on to it for about a week or so. I'm going to start by cutting the front of this card off. This would be another good surface to stamp that music on. Okay, so here's my thoughts. We have these two gold pieces, and they look like they are torn paper. I don't know if you can see that. They look like they're torn. So I'm going to use the scissors and cut down that side. I have to decide if I want to use the deco scissors or the pinking shears. So what I did, I cut some strips. I have the pinking shears on one side and the decal on the other. So I'm going to line them up on it to see how I like it. That's how it looks with the pinking shears, and then that's how it looks with the decal. I do like this. If I were to cut that out, this image, with that edge, that looks kind of pretty. So I think I might try using the pinking shear side, because I think it would go good with these cross lines anyway. So I'm going to get my pinking shears and I'm going to carefully cut along this edge. I want to keep in mind a mark so I can cut pretty straight. I'm going to use the center of those diamonds and that cross hatch there as my straight line, or at least the line in my head that I'm going to keep the scissors lined up with. And then I'm just going to keep moving them up and lining up the pattern of the cut and making sure the scissors are staying lined up with what I'm considering the straight line. Okay, so here we have these two cuts. So you always want, when you're using these scissors, it's really hard to cut a straight line. You always want to have an element of your page picked out to be your straight line, or draw a straight line lightly with a pencil, or flip it over and draw a straight line with a pencil on the back, and that way you will know where your straight line is. And then just be sure to line up the design, line up the design with what you've already cut. So I will set those aside, and then I'm going to cut off this special brother-in-law at Christmas as close to those words as I can. I'll save that just in case somebody wants it. And I'll trim up the sides so they match nice. There. So if one of you can use this along with the sentiment on the inside, I will be happy to put that in the mail to you. I'm going to give this a trim across the bottom just to get that extra piece out of the way. And I'll set that aside. Now I'm going to do the same thing with these scissors. I am going to cut as close to the silver or the gold line as I can, keeping it as straight as I can. So now that I have my elements, I'm going to take my backgrounds and play around and decide which I like. All right, I have to think about it, but what I will do in the meantime, I think I want this matted on a piece of red. And I happen to have a piece of red construction paper handy. I'm going to use my art glitter glue and just glue this down to the construction paper. You can use any adhesive you like. I like the wet adhesive when working with construction paper. That's just my personal preference. I think it grabs the fibers of the paper better. And then I will trim it out with my paper trimmer. This way I don't have to measure. I'm going to have to take another sliver off of that. I left too much red. Much better. Better to err on the side of leaving too much than not enough. You can always go in and trim off a little bit more, but you can't put it back. There we go. I think that makes this image really pop. All right, so let's play around again and see. I have these. I could use like a Merry Christmas across the top, which might be most excellent. I thought maybe, no, I think I like the Merry Christmas. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to do. I've made up my mind. I'm going to pick the piece of this that I like the best and adhere it to the bottom. And to make it even with the bottom, I'm going to stand this up and I'm going to put this down flat on the table. And that way that lines it up evenly. Take my scissors and cut off the excess. I'm going to save that piece. I might use it on the gift tag. And I will do the same with the top piece. I will push this or put this down towards the bottom a little bit, I think, to give this room up top. Okay, I have my foam tape, and I'm going to put a little bit on the back of this. Okay, and because I think it needs something on the side, I have a solution. Of course, guess what? My bling box. I have this red bling that I think would go really pretty up and down the sides just to take care of that white border. This bling is on strands of adhesive. It's from the Dollar Tree. Alright, there we go. We have that card done for Throwback Thursday. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me see. I think I will make a tag out of what is left over. I will set this aside. I have this piece left over from the card, and I have the inside of the card. I'm going to go ahead and cut that sentiment out, and then I will cut this part out. Try to move some of my junk out of the way. There we go. So I have this and this, which I will not be using So if, like I said, if you are interested in this, if you could use it on a card, please let me know, and I will make arrangements to send it to you in the mail. That way you can use it on a card if you have a brother-in-law that you would like to send a card to or make a card for. I'm going to go ahead and trim this piece up, this piece of cardstock. I don't know if it's squared up really good. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to cut out this piece. I'm not going to be using my decorative scissors for that. Or at least I don't think I am. Let me see. Alright, maybe I will use my decorative scissors, and I'll kind of do it the same way as it was on the original card. I'm going to use my same ones, the pinking shears, and I'm going to cut as close to that line as I can just to give it a border. Again, I will mat this onto the construction paper with a little bit of art glitter glue. I want to use just a tiny bit since this paper is thin. I don't want the glue lines to show. I'm going to burnish it down with my bone folder to make sure the glue lines don't show. Alrighty, I'm going to get my chomper tool and I'm going to make this into a tag. This is the Crocodile Corner Chomper by We Are Memory Keepers, and it just cuts the corner of your card, whatever shape you have, whatever size rectangle, it'll cut it and make a tag. I like using the large angle side. There's two sides, there's a small and a large. And I'm just going to cut the top two, and you just line it up in there like you do any, like a corner rounder or anything like that. And there you go, you get your two edges, and now you've got a tag. Very cool. Let's see how that looks on there, and let me get my little to from stickers. I thought this one would work. Yeah, I think that goes really good. Although it wouldn't leave me room for a hole at the top. Maybe if I put it at the very bottom. Okay, so I put that at the bottom, and I will adhere this closer to the top. Turn it the right way. Okay, then I'm just going to get my regular hole punch from any office supply store, Walmart, wherever, and I'm just going to punch a hole in the center of the top of the tag and then put some ribbon in there. Okay, my friend Melissa over at Fresh Bloomin' Clothing sent me this bag of ribbon scraps. I always watch her videos. She wraps her eBay purchases really pretty, and she throws away a lot of ribbon scraps. So she asked if anybody wanted them, and of course I raised my hand, being the recycler that I am, and she sent me this wonderful bag of ribbon scraps, which is pretty awesome. I absolutely love it, and I'm always looking for ways to use it. So I thought this here would be pretty. There's this twine. It's white with some silver in it, and I think I'm just going to use a piece of that right in here. I'm just going to pull it through, and I will trim it off. These aren't my best fabric scissors. Anyway, that worked out great. There we go. And I will put the rest of this ribbon away. I'll definitely be using more of this as I can. It's pretty awesome. Thank you, Melissa. You're the best. All right. So there we go. Here is my Throwback Thursday card and gift tag that match pretty darn well. So I used a really old, big, fat, chunky wooden stamp, and I used some of these fun decorative scissors that I've had since 1999. So I've had them quite a few years. So 20-year-old scissors, 21-year-old scissors. It's pretty awesome. All right. Thank you so much for joining me and watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, please click that subscribe button. I'd love it if you subscribed. And come on over and check out my Facebook group, Create with Crafty Rhea. I'd love for you to join my crafting community because I want to see what you're making as well. Leave me a comment below and let me know what your oldest craft tool is and if you ever use it. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And until the next video, you know what to do. Go get crafting. Bye-bye.